Welcome to the Friends and Rivals podcast.
Let's go, Mets go.
Let's talk Devils and Islanders. Let's talk Penguins and Rangers. But let's not talk about Flyers, because they're a bunch of fucks, which no one can deny.
Don't try it till you've had it. This is episode 102 of the Friends and Rivals podcast. I'm one of your hosts. Joining me each week are...
very not looking forward to editing this episode, Stephen Wojtowicz.
Bill Fougere Kelsey, the third Kelsey brother.
Nick, cheese was a bad choice. Loretta.
You know what? You're like the fifth Beatle, Bill. I didn't know there was a third Kelsey brother.
Yeah, I'm a bastard.
Well, without further ado, the world premiere Philly song from our own Bill Fougere.
Cry, Eagles, cry, lost the road to victory. Have order ice, a Coke and a hoagie. Hit 'em high, hit 'em low, and watch our defense hold. Cry, Eagles, cry, and fuck the Flyers too. P-H-I-L-L-Y, fuck you.
Woo-hoo! Fucking brilliant.
I don't think anyone had ever spoke truer words in the history of the world.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Thank you.
If we don't become viral because of that song, I really don't know. The marketing department's got to go full bore with that little ditty tomorrow.
Gonna have
Well,
to figure that out.
The people were clamoring for it. I had more than one request, meaning I had two requests for a Philly song.
I mean, you worked in water ice and hoagie, and you probably could have worked in a trip down to Rehoboth. And you could have talked about people phoning home to their families. Just all their stupid little accent words.
Getting out of the water and grabbing a towel to dry off.
It's still my favorite impression ever.
Stupid, unintelligent speech.
Well, unless you lived in a bubble, last night was the Philadelphia Eagles lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. What was it, 38-35 was final score of that game?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I thought it was a great game, first of all. I haven't seen a Super Bowl that good in a long time. For it to end on a call like that, though, I don't know. I felt kind of like I almost felt bad at the end.
Oh, boo-hoo!
Was it a penalty?
Listen, by definition, yes, it was.
Okay, no,
Then it's a penalty.
Then it's a penalty. What do you
Listen,
mean by definition?
I'm not used to referees calling penalties in the
Are you-
playoffs.
Why are you sticking
not
up for the
playoffs.
Eagles?
I'm not sticking up for the Eagles. Not at all. I just thought that game needed a better ending.
Yeah, so the guy shouldn't have held. I
like
agree.
the one.
I completely agree. That's why the guy shouldn't have held the Kansas City guy and fucked it up for all of us. It was his fault.
Listen, Kadarius Toney, who had a couple big plays in that game, and James Bradbury, both former Giants. You're welcome, Philadelphia. We know how to fuck you.
I mean, he did even call it out that he held the receiver.
Yeah.
He held Juju on the
He
play.
admitted it. Yeah, he admitted it after the game.
He just I just thought they wouldn't call it. Or I was hoping they wouldn't call it, right?
Call it.
He
Yeah, I
should have
mean,
just said, "Look,
You know,
I got away with it in the first quarter. I figured I'd get away with it in the fourth quarter too."
yeah. I mean, that ball was probably not catchable either way, but it didn't matter. They got him in that hold. So, but to be honest, though, everyone focuses on that play, but no one's talking about how bad the defense of the Eagles was in the second half. They couldn't stop anything.
In the entire game, Nick, the entire game, they were bad.
But really in the second half, really, really bad. I mean,
just-
yes, it
It
was,
benefited that they were barely on the field in the first half.
and it also, no one called out the absolutely beautiful play by Jerick McKinnon to slide right by the one instead of running the ball in.
Yeah.
Because everyone was so focused on the penalty call, which was called. Of course, they didn't call it the whole game, and then they just called it there. I get it. However, it's a penalty, and there was some really good play, and it was the opposite of who was it? That fell into the end zone.
The Giants guy.
Yeah.
It was,
Bradshaw.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, what a vet
Give me your
move,
PlayStation.
and that ended the game. That was the clincher. So it was a great game. Great game.
So
But
just getting back to this ref thing.
Yeah.
You don't know. Nobody knows if the ref maybe said, they have communication with the sideline throughout the whole game. Maybe he said, you know what, guys, I let it go, but I might call it at some point.
Yeah, but it wasn't even the referee who was like right on them. It happened within the 5 yards, and I guess the line judge was literally right there. But it was the back judge who actually called it. I'm guessing that's his call.
He's got a better view of it.
Well, right in front of the other guy.
But what they're showing like on a lot of replays, they're freezing frame on this like one time when Bradbury has his left hand on the hip of the receiver. What was it, Smith-Schuster?
Yeah,
has his left hand on his hip. I don't think that's what they called. Like a second earlier when he had turned around, he had his hand. He was pulling jersey.
Yeah,
and it's the guy who probably had that back angle from the back that really saw it better than
anybody else.
My favorite social media post from last night, and I'm going to read it verbatim. I think the halftime dance would give the Eagles a tougher challenge in the second half than a hobbling Mahomes and that Swiss cheese defense.
Who said that?
What a dick.
Our own Bill Fougere.
Who said?
He later goes on
who
to
would say
"Boy,
that?
This post didn't age well." Oh, this post really didn't.
Who would be so dumb as to be tweeting during the entire big game?
At least I called myself out. Wait, we're not calling it the big game. I thought we were calling it the slippery field bowl.
Sure.
That field was atrocious. Holy shit.
They blamed it on like the painting on the field.
Well, there was
Do you think they painted the green?
It was abnormal. No. The giant logos on each side of the field that said Super, those fucking big ass fucking Super logos. It was ridiculous.
But do you think they also painted the green just so that it looked greener?
Right. It was everywhere.
Because they were falling everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere. The guy nearly broke his ankle on a kickoff.
I saw that. Holy crap.
Pacheco almost fell over dancing after he scored a touchdown.
Wait, where did he go to school? Anyone?
You.
They
Jersey.
They made a big deal about the field too. Like it was some special
Omaha turf. Yeah, it was like some special breed.
Making this for 8 months, and then they roll it out and they roll it back in and all this bullshit and the cool. Stupid. And then everybody hated it. Like I think Jalen Hurts immediately changed his cleats.
Oh yeah, he went to the longer spike.
At one point, Fox showed the Philadelphia sideline with the mountain of cleats.
Oh yeah, they're all changing, and it's like, why didn't they? And I mean, I don't know. We're not professional athletes. We're not there, but like,
what?
Wouldn't they do some real cutting? Like,
good.
Try it out the field and see what cleats to use.
They're only on the field for 2 hours before the game. Why would they think to check that out? Especially Kansas City, who had already played on that turf and complained about it.
Yeah,
right. And their kicker got hurt. Right. Speaking of their fucking kicker, you fucking cost me $75 in the first quarter. You fucking asshole. The 42-yard field goal. Learn how to kick.
That was the best doink. That was so loud. It was.
No, it wasn't the best doink. It was a $75 doink. That's what that was. God damn
keep saying doink.
I was excited for having 7-0 for the first time in my life.
That's a good.
Tom,
that's
you
a
were
good
going to
number.
win your Super Bowl pool.
What's that?
That's too bad. You were going to get a win in your Super Bowl.
I was in my box pool. I was going to get a little win there.
This guy can never complain about the big game box pool because he won 3 times in 1 year, right? Was it
twice? It was
twice.
It was halftime and third quarter. It was Denver, Atlanta.
He can never
that
complain.
Game. I won the halftime, and then Denver scored 10 points in the third quarter, and I won the third quarter. It was like I think I won like $500 that game.
So I do not feel bad for this guy at all.
That was fun. I don't think there was any commercials that actually I remember. My son was excited for the fucking Prime drink commercial. Other than that,
oh yeah.
My
kids
are
also.
Your kids obsessed with that fucking Prime drink?
Yeah. No, because wasn't that the one where they had Mr. Beast on? Was that for like 3 seconds?
No, that was a different one.
Different one. They saw that and they were like, "Hey, Mr. Peace." I'm like, "I don't care." Yeah, I don't know.
So-
They were all kind of meh. But the best one was actually that I think they've done it before. The one where it turns into looks like it's a menu and they're changing the channel. Did you guys
Everybody
see
was
that?
pissed about that. That was what
Tubi.
Tubi. That's right.
Tubi.
So-
yeah, it was, yeah.
So Nick and Tom actually didn't see the best commercial of the big game, because the best commercial of the big game only ran in the New York market, and
Oh,
it was
I
the
didn't
New
realize
York
it was only New York.
Mets commercial.
What?
The
Mets
New
had
York
a
Mets
Super Bowl
aired a commercial at the end of the first quarter.
Wait, they do local commercials in this. I'm not paying attention enough. They do local commercials and
They sell some spots that are regionalized. Yes.
I thought that was the case because I saw a commercial and it was like some lawyers. I'm like, the fuck? And I thought maybe it was a local slot,
Yeah.
but now you're confirming it for me. It had to be. There's no way.
I'm not
like a
sure.
small, you know?
I'm not sure how many, if there's a certain number per break or if there's a certain number throughout the game. But maybe the marketing department will tweet out the Mets commercial so everybody can enjoy it.
I actually saw it the day before, but I think like Evan Roberts or somebody like that posted on Twitter the day prior to it going on.
And it was spectacular.
It was good. It was all about ticket sales and stuff like
Yes.
that. So it was funny. It was good. Go Mets. Let's go. Mets go. Blech, blech. Listen, because of the halftime show, which everybody said was good. I okay.
Sure.
It was, dude.
I had
That
heard
was-
like 2 of those songs before.
It was
Congratulations, Bill.
it was a performance.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It was
I mean,
good. I like that she rubbed her crotch and smelt it. I thought that was good. That was fun.
I thought when that happened, I was like, did she just do that? That was awesome.
fun.
Oh man, it's like one of those things where you're like, wait, you look around, you're like, did everybody just see that? Am I,
Did you
am I
see that?
crazy?
Was that just Janet Jackson's nipple? What?
I go on Twitter, and like everyone's like, did you see that? I'm like, what? It happened?
So because of the
Oh.
halftime show and the field condition in the second half, especially, do you think they're going to start doing away with these shows or
No.
find a way
No.
to do them
No.
elsewhere than right on the fucking field
No.
to
Nope.
destroy the field? Or
No.
are they going to just say, fuck it, we're going, every field is going artificial turf?
Do you know how much money Apple pays to sponsor the halftime show?
Probably a lot of money.
$50
Anything
million
else is
to
expensive.
sponsor the halftime show. Do you know how much she got paid to put on that performance last night?
I heard nothing.
Zero. They get $0.
Why?
Really?
They get a certain budget for the performance, and if what they want to do goes over that, it comes out of their pocket,
Wow.
because they make so much more now in the streaming. Now I'm sure her songs stream today off the charts.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
would agree with you for sure.
Well,
So
okay.
the NFL is not going to turn down $50 million of free money.
Yeah.
Each year
It's
for the
all-
next 5 years.
It's all exposure, you're saying. So basically, they're just getting 100 million people watching
Right.
your thing. So they're like, it's free for you.
Yeah.
How much did the NHL get for Fall Out Boy at the All-Star game?
Ugh.
I think Fall Out Boy had to pay them to be there, to be honest. But you know,
Is that right? Well, I know how much Billy loved them, so I
Oh,
tried
they
to work them in
suck.
last week, but I just couldn't.
I think we should get a halftime show. I think we should do a live broadcast at the Super Bowl next year.
Oh, Steve said it. Steve said it. He's believing himself.
Oh, might be the first one ever. Oh God.
Oh, super.
You're stupid.
that was the best. This is my favorite episode now.
Oh,
You are so ridiculous. Oh my God. Well, listen, sucky refs.
21 San Jose. Both guys, 5 each for fighting.
Are just about part of the game, and they're becoming a larger part of the NHL season. In the beginning of the season, I didn't think that the refs weren't bad, or I didn't think the refs were bad. In fact, I thought they had a pretty decent start of the season, and I was kind of encouraged by this. And then we get during the course of the year, what is goaltender interference, offside. But is it me, or have you guys noticed an absurd amount of offsides that are let go during the course of a game? Is it hard for the fucking linesmen to just sit and watch people and gain access to the zone. I mean, that's their primary fucking job. Is to
So
make sure that there's no offsides.
2
Their
points on that.
linesmen. There was
2
even a
points on
trivia
that.
question about the linesmen.
2 points on that. First, maybe they're told to let them go because then it can be challenged. Right? You can't go the other way. You can't call something that wasn't offsides, and then challenge it because play's already blown dead.
Okay.
2, what I've noticed is these guys don't stand on the line anymore.
No, they don't want to be in the way.
They're calling offsides from like 5 feet behind the line.
Huh.
So maybe that's why they're missing it. Just that perspective is off.
And maybe you remember the linesmen, like they would like squat down.
They would,
bend
yeah, would get down low.
Play, right?
Right.
But they're not.
But they're
doing
also
that. And that led
also-
to a fucking in one of the Ranger games that led to a penalty that led to a goal. If the offsides was called, the penalty wouldn't have happened. You know, you get the idea. But it's just been really, really bad.
Yeah. And not to mention that, you know, there's the whole piece of the puck. If you're not controlling the puck, you can actually, you know, get away with a little bit of like an offside and then get control of the puck. Like that whole rule is very hard to understand, like in the moment of the play. Like it's very much a subjective call. And
Like if
you know,
you're carrying the puck, you can back into the zone.
right, but if you don't touch the puck, you have to have control the puck. So I always fuck this up. So it's
Yeah.
like when, you know, this just happened in the Isles game yesterday, I believe. Yeah. So same kind of deal. Or effectively, you know, it was a breakaway in overtime, and the puck was the guy was just over. It looked like he was just over the blue line right before the puck cleared or came over, but he wasn't in possession of the puck, and therefore he is onside with the puck. I don't know, the whole thing to me is we got to be clear with the rules. It's too much up to the referees to make these judgment calls in a split second where they're, like Tom said, they're not on the blue line. You don't have, you know, especially in the moment like a play like that happens, right? Where they're not sitting there the whole time. They're moving with the play. So there's no way they can make that call frequently in the right spot.
So there's two calls that I'm gonna bring out. And look, they're gonna be horrible for radio. So I'm sorry ahead of time, everybody listening. One's coming from the first one's coming from the Penguins Kings game. And look, this is like halfway through the third period. This game is fucking over. Pittsburgh was just getting fucking beat down sorry, Bill. They were getting beat down the entire fucking game. And then at about the midway point in the game, this happens.
Midway point of the third.
Yeah, midway point of the third period. Watch Crosby.
There's Ricard Raquel, backside hit on Dursey. Joseph shooting off the pad of Copley, but now he got a penalty and one of the Penguins is down.
That's it.
That is Crosby.
And this is troubling here right now. Sid took a cross check in front of the net and seems a little bit shaken up here. We'll see if he can stay out for this power play. And he said he's asking, he's taking a look now. Who gave him the shot? Crosby's coming over at him
number
now.
44 has 2 minutes for cross-checking.
Crosby's right in the face of it. There, Crosby came right over on Anderson.
Listen, you get checked in the back like that and checked into another player, you're going to get up and want to have words with that guy, right? Especially if there's 5 minutes, you know, there's 10 minutes left in the game, you're down 5-0. You're going to go fucking say somebody. I don't think they play the Kings for the rest of the year. I think this is done for this year. So Crosby went over and fucking probably gave him a shot, a cross check to the chops, and he ended up getting a 10-minute penalty for this. And I didn't understand how that warranted a 10-minute misconduct penalty for going over there and cross-checking a guy who cross-checked you in the back in front of the crease and dumped you into another player that you could have injured one of your own teammates. But I just don't understand how this was a misconduct penalty. And I think Crosby didn't understand it either, because he kept asking the referee why the hell it was a misconduct penalty. Why was it a penalty at all? And then he got a game misconduct on top of that. So I don't know if this referee has got it out for Crosby. And I'm not a fucking Crosby defender by any stretch of the fucking imagination, but
No
this
shit.
was absurd.
The only thing I see here is he's skating towards his bench and then comes across the rink.
Yeah.
So if you go back,
Okay.
so well,
I'm sure they're going to play on the replay like 1,700 times, I think.
that's the only reason I could see them calling him. See, he's skating towards his bench.
Is he though?
Yeah.
He's more like toward the face-off circle. You're not going to be able to see it because in here is him going over where the penalty box is. But that's where the ref was going, and he wanted to talk to the ref. And
He
he's the
wanted to
captain
talk
of
to the
fucking
player.
team. Of course he did. But in his defense, he was going to talk to the ref and find out, you know, I don't know what the fuck he was going to find out. Because
He didn't even call
he
them
was on him.
misconduct at that point. Yeah, he didn't want to go talk to the
They
ref.
called him a conduct right here. All right, so but even still, I'd want to fucking get a shot on that fucking guy too.
Yeah, I think there's a little context too. It's 5-0 at this point.
Yeah.
I think they probably try to say, you know what, we don't want any of this boiling over into a big.
They gave him a 10-minute head start. That's what they did.
Yeah, they're like, all right, you know, get the fuck out of here. Just, you know, we're settling this now. We don't give a shit who you are, and you know, that's it. We're just gonna get this game over with. It's 5-0. You guys are fucking, you're toast. I can't see any other reason to throw him out of the game or go through him.
Did he get a misconduct too? The Kings guy? Why is he leaving the ice?
Yeah, he got a misconduct penalty too.
So,
but I have seen 1,000 times worse in a fucking game, and nobody got anything. Like punches thrown, and nobody got any penalties at all.
I agree with you. I think, but that's part of the reason why too is because usually they let that stuff go right around the net, like right at the culmination of the play when the whistle's blown. People start.
That's where he gets
other.
the misconduct. Wait a second.
That he just got. Well, yeah, I thought you meant on the screen. Sorry. And then another one was from the Ranger game on Monday against Calgary, and we talked a little bit about this last week, but on this play, you know, Sammy Blais comes across and is going to hit Lucic, who has the puck or just gets rid of it and finishes his check. The refs stopped this play dead, and we're going to give Sammy Blais a 5-minute major for that hit. A 5-minute major for a shoulder to shoulder. And there's a point where the ref's microphone is open and he goes, I don't like the hit. The referee saying, I don't like the hit, to me sounds like it's more of a judgment call as opposed to something else.
100%.
I think maybe what he's trying to say is he doesn't like the type of hit where you're coming across.
That's fine. Then say it was a hit to the head and it's a major penalty. Don't leave it open to interpretation to the player and say, I didn't like the fucking hit. And you know, from the opposite angle of this, if I ever get to it, you'll see that fucking it was shoulder to shoulder. Like a lot of these hits in this game were just shoulder to shoulder hits.
Again, a little bit of it's a split second. It happens in a split second though, right?
Yeah.
You see a guy's head snap back like that. You see him do that kind of spin fall to the ice. And you might think you saw something you didn't really see.
He takes his hand off the stick and lifts that arm too.
On these plays, the linesman can chime in, right? And let the refs know what's going on.
I think they can only go the one way. I think they can only upgrade.
No, well, they downgraded this. Sammy Blais did not receive a penalty after review.
But not because of the linesman, maybe because of the other ref.
I think because they video replayed it.
Okay.
I think, or something to that effect, which I didn't even know was possible. But in the, you know, we're having these problems with the strike zone in Major League Baseball. We're having problems with, you know, what is a catch in the NFL?
Roughing the passer.
All this shit. And we've talked about, you know, is it time, especially for the linesman with the offsides? if they can, and Billy, I think you made this point, so I want to give you the credit for it. If they can do the beeper on the line with fucking tennis balls, why can't we do something similar to that in hockey? And I think that's the only way that this is going to work.
I definitely didn't make the point about a tennis ball. I can't give myself credit for that because I would have never thought of that in a million years. But yeah, they should be able to develop that.
Or was it Steve? Was it you? All right, one of you fuckers.
How about we don't have goal judges anymore, right?
There's not a guy that sits behind the fucking
There's no
goal
guy
anymore
that
now
sits
with
behind
box?
anymore. No,
Really?
I don't think so.
Come on,
Believe
of
it,
course
right?
there is.
I think if you look, some arenas don't even have the spot where they sit. Why not have the
I'm shocked.
linesman in a box right at the line?
Just one guy.
They don't have to be on the ice anymore. You let the referees drop all the pucks. You let the referees break up the fights. You leave the linesman in a box. That's 2 less people on the ice, and they got better perspective of making that offsides call.
Yeah.
So
That's a good call.
on that box, they can actually be probably in the penalty box on that one side, right?
No, I don't think the penalty boxes extend into to the blue line.
Well, then, okay, those are prime seating areas then.
I
And
don't
on
give
the
a shit.
opposite side,
I don't care.
it's the bench, or it's just on the opposite side of the bench. I just don't think you can give up that real estate to do
It's
that.
one
I
seat.
like the idea.
It's 1 seat on each
I like
side of
the
the
idea.
ice.
Yeah, do you know how much that ticket's worth? Ticket's
Doesn't matter.
$1,000.
Is it worth getting the calls correct?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
$1,000 is way more important than getting the fucking calls.
I don't
correct. I'll tell you
think
that.
any NHL team is going to hurt, losing $84,000 in one season.
Oh, they only got 40 some home games anyway.
Well, 42 home games, 2 seats per game. Check my math. 84,000.
I'll float a different idea because why not? So offsides is honestly, without doing something like that, as drastic as that, it's always going to be the most, impossible call to make right most of the time when it becomes very difficult. It's going to be something that's going to fuck up an entire Stanley Cup run for some team for sure. And what I would say was, why not just get away with the fucking line? Get rid of it. Get rid of that. Get rid of the trapezoid because you don't need it anymore if you don't have fucking, 2 red lines. And there you go. Let people just fucking come in and out, and there's no more judgment call. You don't even need that call anymore.
And then if somebody wants to goal hang, hey, look, you're sacrificing a player on defense to goal hang. So
listen, and you know what happens? You guys know what happens. We couldn't do it in roller hockey. If someone's goal hanging, they're getting the shit beaten out of them.
yeah,
The goalie is gonna nail them with the fucking back of the legs. Let them do that shit. It's okay. It'll self-govern. Hockey has that ability to do it. Why not?
I like leaving the center line and leaving the goal line so you can still have icing.
Yeah. I'm not saying, just to fucking enter in the zone because it's fine. It's kind of cool in power play, blah, blah. We're keeping the puck in the zone. But honestly, you could take it out. See what happens to the game. It might open up even more and be less of make the game more,
Yeah, it'll leave more room for players to skate around.
I think before you
for
can
the
get there,
entering the
though,
zone.
I think before you get there, though, you got to do blue line in, red line out. I think before you get to taking out that blue line completely, I think you have to slowly bring it in. So I don't disagree with you that that's not a terrible solution, but I think it's going to be blue line in, red line out first before we see the blue line taken away.
Well,
But regardless, as the season is progressing, the calls are getting worse and worse on the ice. For the next couple of weeks, just keep an eye on it and on how bad they are for and against your teams because they're getting worse as the season is progressing.
The Devils got a great call for them that resulted in a power play goal. There was a phantom hooking call on Dougie Hamilton that the guy's stick never left the ice. So I don't know how he possibly could have hooked anything. But we wound up scoring a power play goal on it. So I don't see any problem with the refereeing this year.
Of course you wouldn't. All right, let's take a peek at the Friends of Rivals, the Cup. Nick, take her away.
all right. I'm still in first.
No shit.
Okay.
Good for you.
Suck it, Billy.
Oh, Billy's in dead last.
All right.
Am I?
Oh yeah, you were hurting.
So I'm still in first, about 50 points up, which is probably not going to change the rest of the year. As we said, in second place, we got Steve at 465 points.
Wow, don't get
Tom.
too excited.
Tom right behind him, 454. Bill coming in caboose, 450 points. There's only 2 games. Bill's got 2 games in hand. Steve and Tom are even on games, so there's not really a change in
We're
there.
So
even
wait
on
a minute.
games now?
Wait a minute.
Really?
Wait a minute. You're shit talking Bill.
Crap.
He's closer to you and has 2 games in hand.
I didn't look at it today. I
Than
looked
you
at it
are
2
to
days
me.
ago. I
So
looked at
go
it 2 days
fuck
ago.
yourself.
Oh wait,
Oh, wait, Nick,
can't
what
read.
the fuck are you talking about?
I can't read, guys.
No,
I'm sorry.
you can't read.
Nick.
Get your fucking glasses.
God
on.
damn it.
God damn it.
If I'm gonna base my arguments on your facts, you better get shit right, man.
All right, here's what happened, listeners. Nick needs new glasses because it says 226 and 236, and I in terms of
Big
the games
difference
played
there, Nick.
remaining.
It's 10 games.
So he's got 10
Unfortunately-
games in hand on me,
yes.
and you let me say go fuck yourself to him like that?
Hey, Steve, go fuck yourself.
Fuck.
Go fuck yourself in the Super
Oh
Bowl.
no! Oh no! Well, that's not good.
That's a
All right,
that's
Nick,
a big game mistake right there, Nick.
looks like I'm making an appointment pretty soon.
Holy shit.
All right.
It's only
Well,
20
that's the
points,
deal.
Nick.
Nick's preparing for his next career as a referee in the NHL.
Yeah, I am.
A linesman.
It's going real good, guys. It's going real
Oh
good.
my god.
All right. Well, that's the update. Nothing really changed. Not much else there than I need some new glasses and still in first.
I'm
And
gonna
Steve's
need to
got a
make my plans to
temporary.
humiliate myself.
Oh,
We're doing really good, Ed. I'm
Oh.
we're 2 for 2 now. Yeah, go on, Bill.
can't wait.
You're up next.
Can't wait what we're gonna make him do. Oof.
All right, let's take a ride in the Metro. Sponsored by Rich Wholesome Nestle Quick. Hello, boys and girls. Do you hate the taste of regular milk and need energy? Try Nestle Quick. One sip and you can feel the energy in your muscles. Nestle Quick, now available in chocolate and strawberry.
They say the real men drink pink, then I'm a real man for sure. But if you like the brown, I still love you for who you are. Because it's time for acceptance of everyone, all preference. We're all quick on the inside anyway. Nestle Quick, it does the trick.
Billy, we got to start out with the Pens who are on the West Coast, and that game was just real ugly against the Kings.
It was, but you know, this is not atypical anymore. So I mean, it really from the Penguins the only thing that's been a constant this season is the inconsistency. You don't know what team you're going to get on any given night. They go to LA. They didn't play bad in the first period. They were pretty well in the game until late in the first period when, hey, the referees, did their thing. Like we were talking about, Brian Rust gets his stick slashed out of his hands, leads directly to the Kings' second goal of the day. And the Kings are off to the races. And so Rust had some words with the referee after that. And the referees, we're not good. We're not good in that game. But I can't blame Casey DeSmith. I can't blame the referees on a 6-0 loss. It's a lot of factors and a lot of bad play. DeSmith again.
Hold on. Don't you think that a fucking 8 o'clock start in LA is really bad for an East Coast team?
Yes, it's ridiculous, especially if you don't say, hey, the game's going to start at 8. I don't know what the hell. I didn't watch the ceremony. I don't know why the hell it went so far over. But yeah, they were celebrating Dustin Brown or whatever, and it went on and 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 on. And it started later than they thought. But that's an excuse. And
this motherfucker got a statue.
Yeah, I know.
Dustin Brown got a fucking statue in LA.
Yes,
Why?
He won 2 cups. I mean, that's what
That's
captain.
he was the captain, but he wasn't the fucking reason they won either of them.
I guess everybody who won 2 cups is going to get a statue around the arena there in LA. Why
Wait,
not?
so you mean fucking Drew Doughty's gonna get a fucking statue in LA?
Drew
He would
Doughty
have
did
to.
more for the team than Dustin Brown.
Give him a statue before Brown, yeah, for sure. They're also going to have to give a statue to Adrian Kempe, who broke Gretzky's record and for all-time goals. Everybody was waiting for Ovechkin to break Gretzky's record, but in one night against Casey DeSmith, Kempe broke it. He just started just destroying the Penguins in the second period and didn't stop. So he got goals number 3 through 6 in that game. So he abused the Penguins good. So
That
rough
4
game
goals?
there.
He had 4 goals.
Yeah.
And his team.
So not
and
a
his
hat
team
It's like a
won.
hat trick plus 1.
Not a hat trick. He had 4 goals.
Hat trick plus 1.
4 goals and his team won.
But before the LA game, the Penguins were having an okay week. When they came back from the break and played the Avalanche, they actually won that one 2-1. Casey DeSmith was outstanding for all the shit that I give him and the shit that I'm going to continue to give him. He was outstanding in that game. Then they went out to Anaheim and they started their West Coast road trip with a 6-3 win there. Pretty much they led wire to wire. They made the Anaheim Ducks look like most teams make the Penguins look. It just made them look slow and lost. So they piled it on there. Anaheim did start closing the gap late in the third period to make it just a little bit more nerve-wracking than it should have been, but it never got that close. So and that's just really what the Penguins without Tristan Jarry, that's really what you're getting. You had the 3 games from DeSmith. He was incredible against the Avalanche. He was so against the Ducks, good enough to win in a game that the Penguins actually dominated, and then he was god awful against the Kings, as was everybody. I'm not saying only he was, but the unnerving thing is we don't know what's going on with Jarry. Obviously, heard today some mentions of a nagging like hip issue or something like that that they called it, which didn't come from the team. It came from somebody covering the team, and so Jarry's been in and out of the lineup. He's had injuries in past years, sure, but now he's starting to feel like Matt Murray part 2, because he's just not getting back in, and he's just not reliable. So the Penguins right now, when Jarry's playing, they're a team that's on pace for 116 points when Jarry is in the net. Playoff worthy, obviously.
Yeah.
When Jarry's not in the net, they are a team that's on pace for 78 points. Not going to make the playoffs with that.
Not playoff worthy.
It is clear as day. It's a big enough sample of games. We know that this Penguins playoff run, if they're going to have one this year, Jarry's got to get back. Jarry's got to play. Jarry's got to play at the high level he's capable of playing. Absolutely need him, and he might be playing tomorrow night against San Jose, but we don't know. So we'll see.
He's day to day, but he might play tomorrow night.
You'll get him back just in time for Saturday. That's what's going to happen.
But that's just the ups and downs that the Penguins have been dealing with. They in the standings they still have a few games in hand on Washington, who they're chasing. They have a few games in hand on the Islanders, who are chasing them, but they got to be able to win those games in hand or get some points in those games in hand, and they really need Jarry back to do that. So that's what's going on in Pittsburgh, and how
you got a couple of games upcoming with the Icelanders to
yeah.
Those are really, really important games sandwiched in between the Devils, or sandwiching the Devil game. Speaking of the Icelanders, Nick, it seems like they lost a couple of valuable points to a couple of teams they probably should have beaten.
Yeah, that's right. They had a couple games earlier in the week. Fuck the Flyers, beat them 2-1.
Fuck the Flyers.
And the Eagles.
Fuck Philly.
Your fucking crying coach when they fucking national anthem's playing. Stupid. Sorry.
Was that ridiculous?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that fucking crying little bitch. I couldn't believe he did that. Oh, sorry. Go on.
All right. Sorry, Nick.
You're good. 2-1 win against the Flyers. They should be beating them. Shouldn't have any any problems with that team. And then next game they played, it was against Seattle at home, and Ilya Sorokin has league leading 5 shutouts in this year. Tied with who is it? He's tied with Kemper for 5 for the year. However, he's had these games. They beat Seattle 4-0. Horvat scores. Parise, Bolduc has his first goal. Everything's going well. Sam Bolduc is the defenseman, the rookie defenseman for the Isles. And then we go and play Vancouver. Vancouver's coming to town. Horvat's playing against his former team. Beauvillier is back in town for the first time. They have a nice, thing for Beauvillier. Obviously, scored some big goals. He's out. I think he's got tied for the most overtime goals in playoff history with the Isles. I think he's tied with somebody else. He just really had a knack for big goals. But anyway, they shoot up to a 4-2 lead. They're looking great. And then just fell apart and basically lose that game 6-5. Beauvillier scores the game winner against us. I mean, it was just brutal to watch the rest of that game. And they came back with they were down 6-4, scored a goal with empty net, power play, and they had a minute maybe to try and score a goal. It didn't work out, but nevertheless, they're playing in front. They shouldn't have this problem. Anytime they lead last year or previous years of Trotz, that was their thing. They needed to get the lead. But man, the defense is a mess. And it was no different. It hasn't really been that different the last, few weeks, but it was so personified in that game because we had 2 points in our hands just go away. That was a regulation loss. And then they lost on Saturday to Montreal in overtime. They had the lead late and let up another goal late on deflection, and basically I talked about it brief earlier, but Barzal coughs it up in overtime, and there's a breakaway, just barely onside, one of those weird calls. I don't care about that too much, to be honest, because I feel like it was so close that it doesn't matter. It's really on the player to Barzal can't give up the puck in that position. They were on the power play in the overtime, and it was 4-4 at that point, and that was it. So the biggest thing is the Isles have been just horrendous in their own zone. It's just been the opposite of what Trotz has been like the last few months. And basically today it was reported that Lane was beating the shit out of the team in practice. And they weren't just doing a normal practice. He was fucking screaming at them, calling dudes out for missing shit in practice. They legit
doing drills wrong and make them do them over again.
Make them do over, yeah. And it was even they were saying that they were going really hard in the boards, which in practice they're not going that hard on the boards because they do that every game. So that's usually not something they're really crushing each other. And apparently he was fucking livid. And honestly, he should be, because his team is not fucking. They're just not there. It's I don't know what it is. If it's too much of a departure of the structure that Trotz had out there, because you figure it wouldn't have changed that much. And it's the same crew, same group. This is a very veteran group. And defensively, they've just looked like shit. Now, Dobson and Romanov have both, not regressed, but they've had a bad year. I wouldn't call them regress. I think because they've got a lot of minutes, and then I think they've all, the whole defense in itself, they're missing guys, little things that they normally don't do, but their play is good. It's just they're missing those details that you normally don't see from that team, this team. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how they rebound against Ottawa tomorrow, because they had 2 days. They had the Sunday off day, and then big practice day today. It'll be interesting how much fight they got tomorrow at home, but they'll have 2 days off, and then Pittsburgh again, Boston away, and then back to Pittsburgh, out to Pittsburgh on the 20th. So it's not an easy week. These are 4 games in a row that are tough games. Ottawa's been tough. Pittsburgh's playing for that spot, and they got to win both those games. Realistically, if they lose, they don't get 4 points out of those 2 games with Pittsburgh, in regulation, I don't see how they're going to be able to make the playoffs because they're really fighting with them in Washington, and the Sabres for that last spot. So it's going to be tough. So we'll see how it works out. But Sorokin, yeah, he's great one game, and then he was really shitty in the Vancouver game. It wasn't all in the defense. He had a really bad game. He had let up a couple early soft goals, and it didn't look like it was going to end up being that bad. But when they were up 4-2, but man, it's crazy to see, like, when you have a goalie that like is leading the league in shutouts, also have turned around and let up 6 goals. You're like,
just lay an egg.
It's like, man, I don't know what it is, but they just collectively are not sharp. And I think that's been the problem, because you see it some games, and other games it's not there. The scoring is up.
Giving up that 2-goal lead, that's a league-wide epidemic thing, though. That's happening all around the league.
Yeah,
but I mean, coming off a shutout, you don't expect to see it.
No, in the beginning of the year, you guys were the team coming back on teams when you were down 2 or 3 goals. You had a good stretch there where you were just coming back on teams.
It was a third period team. I talked about it a lot, and I couldn't. It was such a strange thing because they hadn't really been that team. They had been to get the lead early and sit on it, and now we're getting to this point where we're getting the lead and just shit in the bed. I don't even know how to describe it any other way. So they have to really, really quickly, and I mean, it had to be today. If they don't respond tomorrow, this season's really done, because there's not help coming. I don't care. You can't make a trade that's going to be that impactful at this point. You can make a trade.
Well, no, you made it. You made it. That trade should have been the one.
And that game against the Kraken, I thought this was a new Islander team.
The start of a run.
But I think Horvat was the perfect thing for Barzal. Moves him to the wing and gives him a lot of free. He looks so much more comfortable out there, and he doesn't have to deal. And he's still Barzal. He's still going to make mistakes. He's going to cough the puck up, but if he can just get enough of that offense. I mean, they
still going to call people John McEnroe.
So yeah, it's true. But he, they had the first few games. They had like they were. I think they had like 3 or 4 goals combined and no goals against. It was something ridiculous. They were crushing it. And now, not that they've been bad. It's just they're going to come back down to reality a little bit. But man, having that first line, legitimately, they need someone else up there with them to make that really a top tier line. But the second allows Lee, Nelson, and Palmieri to really be a nice second line, especially Palmieri's healthy. He's been healthy. He's been back. He's been looking a lot better. He's had some nice goals. The more goals will come as he's got more time. But man, they really need to get the defensive, lapses fixed, because you can't let up breakaways. You can't let up
odd man rushes and
all this shit that never happened to Trotz is like, it's like really personified. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Lambert. I'm not sold on him at all, because I think the problem is this. It's the Hall of Fame coach gets fired, and then you're like, this guy's going to be this answer. And it's like, then you look back after a few months, you're like, why did we fire the Hall of Fame coach? Because he's a Hall of Fame coach for a reason, right? Because he didn't let this shit happen. Like, he was like, you didn't see the goals all the time, but as he said in some of his interviews, was that, he played to the strengths of the team. And so like when he had, he was coaching for, Washington, they were defensive, but like they scored a lot of goals. I mean, they had the best goal scorer in history in the other team, and they didn't shy away from goals, So we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure.
It's quite amazing that your team has played 56 games though so far this year. It's and Pittsburgh, and Buffalo 51, 52. Dude, man, I remember years where the Rangers were always number ones in games played.
Way ahead,
and way ahead. And the Devils would be like have like 6 games.
6 games, it was always a
lot. But the Islanders are certainly running out of time for sure. But the Devils are finding out what life is like without Jack Hughes.
Really weird. Like, he played last Monday against the Canucks, and he played well. And then the next day it comes out that he's got, he took a maintenance day. And then the day after that, they came out and said, no, it's an upper body injury and it's week to week. I mean,
Welcome to my world.
quite.
That is such a Penguins thing.
Yeah.
That Tom Fitzgerald must have brought that from Pittsburgh, dude.
No idea what it was, no idea when it happened. There's no information, obviously. He was on the ice today at the end of practice.
Was it anything from the Kachuk thing at the All-Star game? Did
They say no. They say no.
Because he kind of can opener him, right? Do they call it a can opener anymore?
And the fact that he played Monday, though, he played 2 days later.
Scored 2 goals, didn't he?
Yeah.
In Vancouver.
So again, not much news on that, but again, he was at practice today towards the end of practice when they were doing just their mess around thing. So at least it's not bad enough that he can't get on the ice.
No, there's no need to rush him back, dude.
Right. A win last Thursday against the Kraken. 2 goals from Dougie Hamilton. But the story of the game was Blackwood. He was outstanding. He really won this game. There were so many incredible saves that he made, 2-on-1s or, pucks in the crease, cross ice passes, you name it, and he was stopping it. So very impressed with the way he played last week. Only strengthens his trade value if they decide to go that way. And they followed that up on Saturday with a loss at the Minnesota Wild. They lost in a shootout. It broke a streak of 10 straight wins that Vanacek had. 2 goals from Tatar, so it was nice to see him get off the schneid, but the rest of the team just looked sluggish. There was an interesting pairing of Sharangovich, Huwala, and Bratt, which actually looked pretty good. So they're saying maybe when Jack comes back, he could slide right into that center position on that line. Would be an interesting combination. That leaves Mercer with Hischier and Palat, which was another interesting combination to have Mercer up on the top line. We'll see what happens when Jack gets back. Nobody's sold right now on Kevin Ball. It's a possibility he might need some more seasoning. So maybe come trade deadline, they look to deepen the depth core. This week, they've got Columbus on Tuesday. They're at St. Louis on Thursday. Those are both winnable games. They've got to beat those 2 teams. If you're going to be a top team in the league, you've got to win the winnable games. And then 2 challenging games, Saturday, Pittsburgh on the road, Winnipeg Sunday at home. So 2 games in just over 24 hours, one against a team who's fighting for the playoffs and another against a team who's a very big, a very strong team that's really up there in the Western Conference. So it'll be interesting. This weekend is going to be a real statement weekend for them.
Yeah, Corey Connor's still ready to be fine. It'll be just fine. Screw that guy.
Jack.
Listen, conversely, the Rangers are fucking rolling. And I'm going to need a little time here because a lot has happened this week. So
get ready, boys.
Everybody.
Get ready.
Listen, we all know what happened on Monday night.
Somebody get the pillow.
We talked about it last week with the OT winner by Lafreniere. He with a pair of goals in that game, and Mika on the power play is 15th of the season.
We already talked about that game.
Puts him within the top 3 of power play goals in the league this season. Wednesday against Vancouver, Heel continued his hot scoring with a first period goal. And, with every goal that Heel scores, his next contract goes up by $225,000. I think that's the ratio.
That's interesting.
That's a good deal.
The game was back and forth until Mika put the Rangers up by 2 with a goal late in the 3rd period. They come away with a 4-3 win. It was just one of those games where nothing really memorable happened, and it had the energy of an Eastern Conference team versus a Western Conference team in early February. So then Thursday happened, and the Rangers make a trade. They go out and get one of the big fish that was available, and they get Vladimir Tarasenko along with Nico Mikkola. Anytime you hear Mikkola, I think of fucking the Ricola fucking cough.
Ricola.
Exactly. To St. Louis went a conditional first. That will be either Dallas or the Rangers, depending upon which one is more shitty. And a conditional fourth, which is Jesus Christ, it's a third. Why not just call it a third?
Yeah.
If the Rangers
What's the
playoffs,
condition? Make the playoffs, right?
Yeah. And as well, Sammy Blais and Hunter Skinner. And Hunter Skinner is just a defenseman. And let's be honest, he was never ever gonna make it to the NHL with the Rangers. So best of luck to Hunter Skinner in St. Louis. But the Rangers still have about 1.6 million at the deadline to mess with, to where they can get some depth in a fourth line guy. But they're gonna need some depth now that Kravtsov has requested a trade. So listen, who requested a trade versus, you know, he was on the block is who cares? But yeah, it's the Kravtsov saga, and I think it needs to end now. I think for both teams, it just needs to fucking end. Let Kravtsov go to somewhere where he can start fresh and be the young upstart player that the Rangers thought he was going to be. If you don't give Kravtsov the opportunity to play, how are you going to know if he can stick? And the biggest thing about Gallant saying about Kravtsov is that he wants him to score goals. Yeah, well, put a little more added fucking pressure on a kid who's been just trounced in the lineup for the past couple of years. I don't envy Kravtsov's spot. I thought, you know, getting the opportunity to go in there and playing with Kreider and Trocheck, I didn't really think that was the best line for him. However, he still got the opportunity to go in there, but I don't think he did anything wrong or that bad to warrant not playing again on Saturday night. I just don't fucking get it.
Knowing that he's disgruntled, why not trade him instead of Sammy Blais?
I guess St. Louis wanted him back. But listen, Kravtsov next year is going to be a very valuable winger to you because of all of the cap trouble that you are potentially going to be in. So he's not going to be valuable.
He's not going to be valuable to you. He's going to be on a different team.
Well, yeah, now, yeah, but at the time, Kravtsov didn't want to trade him, and he didn't want to be traded. So this came out, I'm guessing, because of the scratch on Saturday night against Carolina. But so if you include that number into a trade, the Rangers now have about $2.4 million to play with, and they're going to need probably another top 9 winger to replace him in the lineup to promote more depth, because I don't want to put fucking Jimmy Vesey back on one of the first 2 fucking lines. I like Jimmy Vesey. He's got great value, but he is a depth role playing 3rd, 4th line guy. He does not belong on one of your top 2 lines. I'm sorry. It's just,
he's got 6 points on the year. What do you mean?
Jimmy Vesey?
No, yeah. Kravtsov's got 6 points on the season.
How many games have you played?
Even worse. Why keep a guy that's not going to be in the lineup?
Well, listen, I don't disagree with you. Him not scoring is I don't know. You're putting too much pressure on the kid. Are they putting too much pressure on Lafreniere and sitting him and benching him for the majority of the season? No, they're giving him the opportunity to play. I don't know. I personally think Kravtsov has got a bad rap with this team. I don't, even though as much as Gallant says he likes him, I don't think Gallant likes him at all, because he doesn't go into
it looks like 28 games, by the way. 6 points.
I'm surprised it's that much.
6 points, 28 games. Much. He's replaceable.
Of course he's replaceable, but you need another top 9 winger for sure. So Friday comes and we play the Kraken. And you know, you don't have to wait too long to find out what Tarasenko can do in this lineup. And he scores on his 2nd shift of the game on a great feed from Panarin. Rangers score 3 goals in the first period. 3 different lines, Kakko and Trocheck the other 2. After the Rangers make it 5-1 early in the 3rd period, and they almost fucked around too much and found out that Seattle is one of the top teams in the West for a reason. But the Rangers do come away winning that game 6-3. And man, there is such a buzz around the team right now.
This is just the quintessential point of, once you get that one player, everybody else down the line falls into the right spot.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it happened last year when they got Kopp, more than Vetrano. I think it was Andrew Kopp, because he was finally a right winger that can play with Panarin and Strome. And I think they finally figured out, I hope Tarasenko is that guy who fits on that line wherever Brett is playing, because on Saturday night, they got a monster test for this new Ranger team against the Carolina Hurricanes with the second half of a back-to-back. Now, this is Carolina's first game of after the break.
Oh, wow.
They had their break after the All-Star game. Rangers had it before. So the Rangers have a little bit more experience playing the past couple of nights, but Carolina, I'm sure, was well rested, and boy, they look like it, especially in the first 10 minutes of that game. But the Rangers get another power play goal by Mika Zibanejad to take a 1-0 lead. And then Carolina responded with 2 in the second period, take a 2-1 lead. And that's when Gallant moved Panarin off the left-hand side of Zibanejad and Tarasenko, and put him on with Trocheck and Vesey, of all people. And Panarin scored 4 goals after that. So as much as you want to bust Gerard Gallant's balls about shifting lines all fucking year and can't decide on one, he made the right move in this game. The Rangers end up winning this game 6-2. And again, the fan base is just absolutely buzzing right now, and we can't wait until the next game, which is unfortunately the Rangers are on the West Coast doing the Western Canada trip. So we're going to have to wait until late on Wednesday night to get another game. But listen, Rangers 2-0 versus Carolina this year, and having scored a combined 11 goals on them this year. Panarin has 5 goals for against them this year. And speaking of Artemi Panarin, #1 star of the week honors with 5 goals and 9 assists this week. And again, superstar. Rangers are 4-0 since the break, and get this, 19-4-3 since December 5th.
You don't say.
I do say. This week, like I said, we're in the Western Canada trip. We got Vancouver on Wednesday night, and then a back-to-back into Edmonton and Calgary. Listen, all tough games. After the game Saturday night in Calgary, the Rangers do not leave the Eastern time zone, or they leave the Eastern time zone one more time when they play St. Louis on April 6th. It's a very favorable schedule for them to where they don't have to change time zones.
And now it's time for Trivia with Bill. Yeah.
Now this is the wrong Bill.
All right. The question today: who was the first NHL commissioner?
Gary Bettman.
Oh, he was A on the multiple choice, but that's incorrect. He's actually the current commissioner.
Paul Tagliabue.
Paul Tagliabue was NFL. No, swing and a miss.
David Stern.
That's NBA. No.
Was it Barry Getman?
Who?
His Jewish brother.
George Costanza.
Was it Kennesaw Mountain?
We would like a complete name.
Kennesaw Mountain Landis. Sorry.
That's incorrect.
Adam Graves.
Nobody said Adam Graves yet.
I didn't hear you. What?
It's Stu Barnes.
Not Stu Barnes.
Emil Francis.
No.
Fred Campbell.
No.
Soupy Campbell.
Connie Wales.
They're all Soupies. Every Campbell's just Soupy.
Kanye West.
Connie Chung.
Kanye West.
Fred Stanley.
That'd be crazy. No. Wow, the names are coming fast, but I don't believe hope I haven't missed it, but yeah.
Did you say Vin Diesel?
Only Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious 44 coming out this summer.
Is it George Glass?
Negative.
Mr. Glass?
One of the many people in Niagara Falls area. Benny the Jet Rodriguez.
Nope.
Wow, I think we need multiple choice on this one. I got no.
All right. Well, we knew that A was Gary Bettman. So now B, Frank Calder. C, Mike Barnett, or D, Wayne Gretzky.
D, Wayne Gretzky.
It's always Wayne Gretzky. Duh.
I can't even believe you went for that. He's never been commissioner. He was the all-time leading scorer. He's got all these records. He's
How
not been
about
in the
I'm going to
NHL
go
front
Sam
office.
Calder.
Oh, no, it was
That
Fred
wasn't a-
Savage.
Fred Savage. He died in a movie. Which movie was that?
Drop Dead Fred.
Oh,
that
such a
no,
good movie.
It was the other one. That wasn't Drop Dead Fred. It was the other with the one on Howie Mandel. What was that one?
Little Monsters.
Little Monsters. Yeah, underneath the bed.
So we know we had. So
Calder.
again, the
Calder.
yes, there you go.
Yeah,
I'm
the
going to
Calder
accept
guy.
that. Frank
Thanks.
Calder, B.
Frank
yes.
Frank Calder. What did he call her?
Ah,
And now it's time for impressions with Nick.
Fucking great. Ladies and gentlemen, the Friends of Rivals podcast. Time for the fastest 2 minutes of this 2045 show. It's the 20 questions power play. The rules are simple. The group has 2 minutes to guess a famous player, coach, front office, or any famous person associated with one of the 4 Friends of Rivals favorite teams. The group can ask up to 20 questions in rapid fire. Answers will only come in the form of yes or no. The group will have to make a final guess once they've hit 20 questions or the power play has expired. If the group is successful, they win for the week and avoid shame for unable to win at a children's game. And away we go.
Player play for the New York Rangers.
Yes.
Is this person also associated with one of the other 3 teams we follow?
Yes.
is this player a player for the Pittsburgh Penguins?
Yes.
Is this player also this person also play for the Devils?
Yes.
Did this person play in the 90s?
Yes.
Did this person also play in the 2000s?
Yes.
Is this a forward?
Yes.
Is this player Canadian?
Yes.
Was a player an all-star?
No.
It's Scott Gomez.
No.
He didn't play for Pittsburgh.
Tom, was it Rangers? Was your first thing Rangers
Yeah,
or
it was
Islanders?
Rangers.
So it's a Ranger Devil Penguin.
Ranger Devil Penguin 90s to 2000 forward
Did
Canadian.
we ask if he played for the Islanders too?
Yes.
He played for all 4.
He played for all 4. Fuck, I was gonna research this too this week and I didn't. It wasn't Marty Straka, was it?
No. That's a good guess, but no.
Mike Ruff didn't play in the 90s. John McClane.
Kevin Stevens?
Nope.
I think it was a forward though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a forward.
Jesus.
All right, boys.
We need a big boomer from the blue line, boys.
Oh. He was probably some fucking 4th line player.
See, I'm Googling obscure Islander Penguin Devil Ranger.
Yeah, there's so many fucking players that went in and out of the fucking lineup for the Rangers around that time.
Canadian thing is what's throwing me.
Do you know an American that fits this bill, or anything else for that matter?
Yeah. Well, Nemchinov, no.
Nemchinov never played for Pittsburgh.
You know? Yeah, he played for Pittsburgh. There's not a lot of guys that play for all 4.
No, there certainly is not. Especially on a forward.
This is one of my favorite ones.
Mikko Makela.
I got nothing.
Ooh.
Ricola.
Hey, guess, Tom?
Zarley Zalapsky.
Ziggy Palfy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Answer is Aaron Asham. He played for all 4 teams, including a 5th team of the Flyers. He actually played for all 5. Started his career in Montreal, was traded to the Islanders, or he signed with the Islanders, sorry. Started with the Islanders in 2002, 2003. Played 4 seasons with the Islanders, went to the Devils for 1 season, played for Philly for 2 seasons, played with Pittsburgh for a season, then played 2 seasons, sorry, and then played barely 2 seasons with the Rangers, played very few games.
The Rangers. I liked him.
He was
I
drafted
liked him
80
too.
he started in 98, 99. He was drafted 3rd round, 96th NHL entry draft. So he barely got into the 90s, but he really played a pretty long career, to be honest. Like,
Yeah,
I never remembered him. I never remembered him on the Devils or the
yeah.
Rangers.
Now that you mention it, I remember him on the Devils.
Yeah, he played a hair under 800 games. Played 789. I mean, he only had like 200 points, but
yeah, but
you know, he was a 3rd, 4th line guy. That was his
era
role.
when that guy with that kind of player would last.
Yeah, Chris
You're right.
Simon here. God
Knocked
damn
out
it.
Jay Beagle.
Fucker.
Yeah, he played a long time. 15 years in the
Well
league.
done, Nick. Well done. What are we at right now?
8 for 13.
Oh, we're losing some
dipping.
percentages. We gotta practice.
We're dipping a little.
We gotta
yeah.
practice.
We
All
need
right,
a
let's go.
coach. We need a coach to really lay into us during practice.
We're gonna let's hire somebody for 2 weeks before he takes another job to come in and teach us all about the fucking penalty kill.
Obscure trivia.
All right, let's go to the State and Steve's stomach.
Oh, that feels better.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar.
Round here, we're saving calories. Round here, we all look so lean. Round here, we enjoy Coke Zero, but sacrifice flavor, no. Round here, Coke Zero's the way to go.
This is going to bring us to the year of our Lord 2016. Please go to October 12th of 2016.
I don't like that devious laughter. October 12th.
It's familiar.
Was a Wednesday.
Wednesday?
I simply have candy written for breakfast.
What the hell? Candy?
I don't know what
year
arbitrary candy that is.
You were too ashamed to actually write it
It's
down.
obviously not Halloween candy, as this was before Halloween that year. Bacon double cheeseburger and small fries with a small Coke Zero for lunch. That's probably Wendy's. Pasta and chicken sausage with roasted red peppers and a nice Alfredo sauce for dinner, and a can of Coke Zero to go along with that. Why did you pick Wednesday, October 12th, 2016?
I think I need to take a shit after listening to that, actually, but go ahead.
Well, listen, this came to us from the WTF newsroom. And this poor fucker, this is 41-year-old Martin Klein. He was arrested after he experienced shoplifting gone wrong in Las Vegas. Mr. Klein and his partner, Jerry Weiss, had stolen several grocery items from where?
Walmart.
Of course it's Walmart. Duh.
Always Walmart.
Reportedly, Martin and Jerry went shopping at approximately 11 a.m. and headed toward the breakfast food aisle because who doesn't love shopping for breakfast? Both guys had taken several cans of the Pillsbury cinnamon rolls from the aisle and headed toward the bathroom. According to security cameras, Martin and his partner entered the restroom and hung out for nearly 20 minutes before exiting. I had went to the bathroom to wash my hands when I heard a man in one of the stalls moaning. I had no idea what was happening. I washed my hands and went back to my station in the deli department, said Jonathan Peterson, an employee of the Walmart. Soon after, Martin was approached by Walmart security after they noticed the two men enter the restroom. Martin told his partner to find his mother in front of the store. The security then proceeded to ask him to show him the items that he had taken to the restroom. Martin denied the allegations. Long story short, the fucking Pillsbury can popped in his ass. Popped in his ass. And they said there was fluid leaking from his backside.
Oh, you bet.
Yeesh.
Both men are being held at $3,000 bond. Word to the wise, shop smart and don't shoplift.
Tom's a creep. Tom is a weirdo. Where does he come up with this shit? It's so disgusting.
Can you imagine taking
That's
one
smart.
of those fucking Pillsbury cans and having them fucking explode in your ass?
No.
I get scared when I pop them when they're in the refrigerator. Oh, that's brutal.
I don't like that story.
I don't like any of Tom's stories. to be honest.
Excuse me. Excuse me. This was not my story. This was Fat Boy's story.
Hey,
Oh, sorry, Bill.
I'm right here.
Fucking starving. Got any Pillsbury Christmas?
Listen, Pillsbury.
God
cinnamon
damn it! That
rolls.
was gonna be my line to go out. I was gonna
Pillsbury
ask if we had
cinnamon
any
rolls.
ass rolls.
Listen, the official cinnamon roll of the Friends and Rivals podcast.
But from the container, not from the guy's ass, right?
Hey, you never know.
Listen, once they're baked, how you gonna know?
Oh boy.
Put that friggin' glaze on there. Ooh, a little special glaze. Oh yeah.
You'll never. They're brown anyway. You're not gonna know where one ends, the other one begins.
Exactly. You're fucking delicious. Fucking
Good thing.
delicious.
This French toast has powdered sugar on it. I wanted mine without powdered sugar.
I love that guy.
Oh, don't worry, buddy. I'll take care of that right now.
I love that guy. When we were in New Jersey for Christmas, we went to eat breakfast at a diner. I took Ryan there, and I always meet my niece for breakfast. That's our like tradition. Ryan gets one of those giant Belgian waffles. Didn't have ice cream on it, believe it or not.
No, then it's not a Belgian waffle. We all know that.
But it had powdered sugar on it, and he didn't want the powdered sugar. I said, "You sure you want to send that back? Are you sure you want to?"
You got to show him that scene now. Just
Oh, man.
this is what happened to your Belgian waffle. We didn't have the heart to tell you.
Oh, I can't do that. It'll
See
break
if he
his heart.
retroactively vomits just that Belgian waffle up.
Oh God.
Did fucking Chikrin get traded yet? What the fuck is
Oh.
going on with that shit?
They're not. They're asking too much. They're just gonna end up trading for like Krasov or some bullshit.
No, they're
No.
not. We can't. Well, 4.5. No, we
And
can't.
they're going to
joking,
eat. They're
obviously.
going to eat. They're going to eat a lot of it.
But
No,
he's-
but they're
4.5.
you know-
They don't have to eat shit. It's San Jose.
No.
It's San Jose who's got to eat a lot of Carlson's contract if they want to get rid of him.
yeah.
They're talking. No,
Yeah.
Arizona's talking about eating some of Chikrin's contract to trade him.
Yeah.
They want 2 firsts and a prospect for him.
They ain't getting that. There's no way.
kidding.
No, they'll trade it. They'll trade him to somebody, and it'll be for much less because that's they already. He's already on the bench. They're you know.
No,
he's not
they
playing
said
every
they're
game.
not going to play him.
Yeah.
No,
I
No,
hate
they'll
that.
trade him.
That's so stupid. I mean,
They-
you can't force them.
Dude,
Who do you think? Who do you
but
think?
they
Florida?
backed him into. They backed
Toronto?
him to corner. Not Florida.
Not Florida. No.
Why not?
No.
I still think it's all right. Listen, I don't think Edmonton can possibly trade for Carlson, even if they brought in 4 teams to eat the majority of that contract. So I think the cheaper route for them to go is the Chikrin route. So I think Chikrin might ultimately end up with Edmonton and not necessarily LA. Because I know Edmonton needs a defenseman pretty bad, and really
Edmonton makes
Arby.
sense.
Oh my God. That's worse than Kratzov. But at least that guy's played every game.
Yeah.
And he still sucks.
Yeah. I mean, like Edmonton could trade like they got their first and seconds for this year, next year. They could do something dumb. You know.
Well,
Trade pool.
would it be so fucking dumb to trade your 2 first-round picks for a guy who's going to be on the blue line and you have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl up front? Would it be so dumb? And they went to the Western Conference Final last year. The West
you're not going to draft a player like that where you're drafting.
No, and plus to have Chikrin for this year and next year at a budget price. I don't even understand why they're contemplating trying to get fucking Carlson. Just pull the trigger.
Well,
give fucking McDavid the ammunition for him to fucking flourish.
I mean, well,
but do it after the Rangers play you on Friday. Do it after the Rangers play you on Friday.
Chikrin's gonna have look. He's a UFA at the end of his deal. He's not an RFA.
So what?
Well, you might trade 2 firsts for 2 years and
you can still give him the 8 that other teams can't give him too, though.
I agree. He could definitely they would definitely have the best opportunity to resign him. But I mean,
yeah, but when
a lot can happen in 2 years.
The cap goes up quite substantially, doesn't it?
I don't think it's a problem with the money.
Nobody knows. Who knows?
Well, UFA.
Right? Who knows?
Right?
But it's supposed to go up on
Yeah.
a more substantial level than what we have saw in the past couple months.
Yeah.
At the
I don't. That's not the problem. Again, it's just trying to figure out how you're gonna deal with you know, you have to resign him. You get the extra year, but that's not the problem. It's will he gel? Will he like it there? He may not want to fucking play in Edmonton. Who knows?
So
Connor McDavid?
Are you team trade the player now, or are you team wait until the deadline to see if you can get a better deal? So we're 2 weeks out. Yeah. We're 2.5 weeks out. So you got 5-6 games for that player to get injured.
I love what the Islanders did, and I love what the Rangers did. They didn't fucking wait.
Make the move now. Yeah, I'm team. I'm team. Make the move now.
No doubt. And look, Tarasenko is not going to be a 50-goal scorer. He's the guy that's going to balance your lineup better. And that's
he's just got to stay healthy. He's just got to stay healthy.
So don't we all? We're all day to day, Steve.
Yeah.
I'm sick right now, and I don't think it is going to impact the Devils game tomorrow night.
Probably not. I would say probably not. And they're playing Johnny Hockey, so who knows?
Oh God,
they love him.
Johnny Hockey deactivated his Twitter because he was taking so much shit. Apparently,
for what?
For being a
cross Jersey man is just fucking pork roll eating motherfuckers just going after you all day long.
Yep, that's right.
Wait, was he an Eagles fan? Was that why they're going?
Yep.
Poor little guy.
He said something. He said something about a soft call or something. And somebody said, yeah, you should know a lot about soft play being over there in Columbus.
Ooh.
Like it.
But listen, you give 2 first-rounders for Chikrin to go to Edmonton and they win the cup in one of the 2 years.
It's worth it.
It's
it's worth it.
Especially for Edmonton. I don't know.
I think it also plays into the fact that like teams that playoff bound teams don't probably have as much of a problem with this, but like this year's draft is supposed to be very deep.
Oh, so, it's supposed to be deep, yeah.
Teams may not want to trade it for that. So they might be like, it's worth too much, and that might be the kind of the concession is that Arizona only has 1 first rounder this year. In all the picks they've acquired, they've mostly been 2nd round picks.
That's unbelievable.
Like for next year, and then 2025, they have 4 2nd round picks. But this year coming up, they only have an extra 3rd. They don't have anything else in this draft, so they're definitely targeting, probably trying to get something this year. But you're not going to top 10 pick.
In the deepest draft in NHL history, what percentage of that deepest draft ended up being substantial players in the NHL? It's still a fucking low number. What, at most 20% of that deep draft actually went on to do something in the NHL? I wonder if there is a stat out there as that. I'm sure
you're talking the entire draft, or you're talking
no. The first round, right?
First round. If it was the entire draft, I think that number's low, way lower.
Yeah, way lower.
But if it's the first round, 20%.
No,
the
I think
draft.
of a deep draft. A
What-
deep
what
draft,
was
you're
it?
talking half.
What was the deep draft that we redrafted?
It was
What
was-
year was that?
well-
That was a deep draft.
Hold on.
2003. 2003 was really deep. I mean, you got a shit ton of guys that are all stars in that draft.
2003 NHL draft. I'm going to read you from the first pick on.
Okay, great.
Fleury,
Yeah.
Stahl,
Yep.
Nathan Horton,
Yep.
Nikolai Zherdev, Tomas Vanek, Milan Mikuluk, Ryan
Milacek.
Ryan
The fuck?
Sutter, Braden Coburn, Dion Phaneuf, Andre Kuznetsov, Jeff Carter,
Eachin.
Hugh Jessamine,
Ugh.
Statue Boy, Brent Seabrook, Robert Nielsen, Steve Bernier, Zach Parisi, Eric Fear, Ryan Getzloff, Brent Burns, Mark Stewart, Mark Antone Pouillet, Ryan Kessler, Mike Richards, Anthony Stewart, Brian Boyle, Jeff Tambellini, Corey Perry, Patrick Eves, and Sean Bell.
That was 80%.
And that's besides the fact that Louis Erickson, Patrice Bergeron, David Backus, Jimmy Howard, but like Shea Weber, yeah. So Erickson, Bergeron, and Weber
Yeah.
were in the second round.
Second round, right.
Yeah. Everything else doesn't matter, but those guys are pretty
I got
important.
you, but where Edmonton is probably going to pick after they trade for Chikrin, second to.
Oh, no.
Maybe the last.
Yeah,
four. Yeah,
Corey
you're not-
Perry, Brian Boyle. Those are some pretty good names. Ryan Kessler, Mike Richards.
But I'll give you Corey Petter is better than fucking Chikrin. I'll give you that. But the other guys, I don't know. I'll take Chikrin over that. But how many? But
Would you take him over Hugh Jessamine?
I would take you over Hugh Jessamine.
But he was a huge specimen, Hugh Jessamine.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was. Ugh. God in heaven.
All right, we all make
Oh
mistakes.
man.
That was
2015 was a good draft too.
Tom,
It wasn't. It
It's not your
absolutely
fault.
wasn't. No.
Tom, it's not your fault. All right,
I don't know.
it's not.
How
No,
many
buddy,
ti-
buddy,
How
it's
many
not your
times
fault.
has the 2003 draft happened though? Okay, once. I get it.
2015
Well-
was the other big one.
What? Who was? Give me the last four. Give me the last five guys selected in that draft.
In the first round.
Yeah, in the first round.
2015?
Yeah,
The last five guys?
Last
Are you-
five guys
yeah.
in the first round.
figuring that that's a
Right.
round where
That's-
Edmonton is going to pick. That's his
Precisely.
thinking.
Okay. Noah Juleson, Jacob Larson, Anthony Bevillier, Gabriel Carlson, Nick Merkley.
Berkeley.
No,
I know one of those guys.
Blech. I'm taking Chikrin. Look,
a minimum 2 years of Chikrin.
Yeah, a minimum 2 years.
you're-
Well, a year and a
Listen,
half.
if you're Edmonton,
yeah,
you should make a move now, obviously.
or a year and flip him next year.
Yeah, if you know that you're not going to resign him and he's not really working out, shit, trade for him now. Let him play for 2.5 weeks, and then fucking flip him at the deadline this year. But it's I think
Okay.
I think for a team like the Oilers, worth the investment.
Wrap it up.
Steve wants to go to bed.
And I got
Fine.
to edit this shit tomorrow, and it's an hour and a half.
You're not keeping all this in there at the end here.
Oh, every bit of it, especially the part where we talked about the Super Bowl at the end. All right, don't forget to follow us on the Twitter at Friends and Rivals. Don't forget to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We will read them on the air if you want us to. YouTube, Facebook, Friends and Rivals podcasts. Turn on notifications for our podcast so you never miss an episode. Billy, say something, Woody.
Well, it's my last podcast with you guys because I just learned that I've been traded to the Nets. Your new co-host is going to be Ben Simmons.
Now you can sing us out.
Oh, my friends and rivals. Flyers fuck, flyers fuck, flyers.